So here's a real quick one. I have a whole stable of these Canon PowerShot SX610HS's. These are just two of them. These are my beaters. They used to be good cameras I went on vacations with and so on. Now I have a matched pair of nicer ones with even better specifications that I use for that purpose. And these have, over the years, been downgraded to project cameras. I even have them labeled shop. This is the one I use in the shop when I might get glue on it, or drop it off a workbench, or get it full of sawdust or something. And this one is good, which means it doesn't have sawdust in the lens in places you can't get it out like this one does. This one is for more like my electronics workbench projects, where it's relatively clean, but I'm not using my good cameras that I would take on vacations and train trips and things. And as the cameras downgrade, their labels get moved, and what was good becomes a shop camera, and so on. Anyway, I'm taking this video with the next one better than this, which I recently found from an eBay seller. It was new old stock, so I've got another one waiting in the wings when these have to be downgraded one step. Anyway, the purpose of this is, I love these cameras in spite of their being beat up, but these little thumb pads, which are pretty important for holding it with one hand, that's the major grip area, along with this little strip here, but these things don't stay on. They all come off after time. They've got some little tabs that stick in, but that's not what holds them on. There's a adhesive pad behind those that apparently held them on, and I think the polymer that these are made out of, rubbery polymer, has deformed and expanded a little bit over time, and so they don't even fit precisely into those positions anymore. So I'm going to try to rectify that today. Okay, I've just pulled the pads off, and I'm going to see what I can do to remove this gunk. It may just, yeah, it's kind of mostly just scraping off. It's like an old booger. Oops, I turned it on by touching it. Stop that. Yeah, the majority of that just comes right off. It's like a combination of a booger and earwax. Now I'm going to try to use some adhesive remover on these. Okay, using some tech spray label and adhesive remover sprayed onto cotton swabs, and also some isopropyl alcohol following that up on more cotton swabs. I think I've pretty much got the old adhesive residue removed from the camera. I'm hoping those are blind holes there. Otherwise there's some alcohol and stuff that got in there. I have to believe those are blind holes. Cross my fingers, right? Now I want to clean off the back of these, although they don't really seem to have anything on them. They're pretty clean looking. So those are cleaned off on the back sides. Now the other problem is that they have these flanges around them on three sides, and then a tab or two on the right side that's supposed to stick into these slots. And I've been messing around trying to get them to go back in there, and they just don't want to do it. So I'm thinking I'm going to shave those off and just reattach these using adhesive. Okay, after much shaving, I got it down to just the flat rubber bit and its couple of little posts that go in the holes, and all the tabs are removed, and there was a downward facing portion to the flange that also needed to be trimmed off. So a lot of X-Acto knife work on that. But now it seems like it'll pretty much lay in there. Have to do likewise on this other one. Okay, everything's cleaned up again. I've got some cut off Q-tips for spreaders I'm going to use some black shoe goo, which I think has the best chance of adhering to this rubbery stuff. Hopefully it doesn't damage the plastic, or if it does, it's cosmetic and will be covered by the rubber parts. I also have, to keep them in place, a couple of small beam clamps with the pad removed from one side to make it smaller, so it'll fit between the raised edge of the LCD and the raised edge of this switch, and just sit down in there and hold this in place, and then hopefully those little nubs will keep it from sliding around. Well, we will see how that turns out. Okay, these came out okay. They don't look as nice as they did when they were new, but at least the pads are on there and they feel like they're going to stay put. This one shifted a little bit, probably after I put the clamp on it. So it's, well, can't do much about it now. But it still is functional and better than it was. So I think it's success.